introduce our class of 2011 top student and valedictorian, Miss Melissa Baldoff. Melissa has earned valedictorian honors for the St. Mary's graduating class of 2011. Melissa first remembers becoming interested in a military career on September 11th, 2001, when, as she was attending grade school 5 miles from the Pentagon, where her father worked, she heard the sound of the explosion as the plane hit the building. Since that time, she has realized the importance of defending our country. In about 10 weeks, Melissa will be entering basic training at the Air Force Academy as one of the first 200 students to be admitted through early acceptance to the class of 2015. She plans to major in astronautical engineering or space operations. Since she's been to over 20 space shuttle and rocket launches and used to go with her dad to the launch pad to help him inspect the rockets when he was commander of the Space Launch Squadron, Melissa comes by the wonderment of space and satellites naturally. Melissa has earned 5s in every AP test taken so far and currently maintains an overall GPA of 4.58. She is a member of the National Honor Society and the National Hispanic Honor Society. It is with great pride that we introduce our valedictorian for the class of 2011, Melissa Baldoff.
Members of the board, Mrs. Emmerich, administrators, faculty, and staff, parents, families, and friends of St. Mary's High School, and last, but certainly not least, St. Mary's High School graduating class of 2011. It is a distinct honor and privilege for me to be with you this morning and to offer these short remarks on such a monumental occasion. Thank you for inviting me to share in this very special day with you. I know each of you would like to hear a good speech today. At least one of you is sitting somewhere in this sanctuary saying desperately to his or herself, please let our speech be interesting. Please let our speech be interesting. Let us see if I actually learned anything in forensics. Because if I didn't, then those of you who did not get enough rest last night may be in luck. As valedictorian, it's my job to put you all to sleep with endless platitudes and some commentary on how to make the most of your high school career. Those in need of a nap, this is your cue to get comfortable, because that is exactly what I am going to do. I would like to think that my high school career has been fairly typical. As a freshman, I sprinted to every class, under the strange freshman illusion that if I actually walked, the bell would mysteriously ring a minute early. I suffered through 22 chapters of AP Chemistry, and I was out of dress code more days than I was in. A number of days directly proportional to the number of times I bypassed the front office by walking through the courtyard instead. Despite the normality of my experience, the extraordinary quality of the teachers, students, and staff has made my high school career far from common. Where else would you find a theology teacher who used to be an Elvis impersonator? Or a dean of students who makes the entire student body do push-ups at the same time? St. Mary's class of 2011, you have made these past 4 years a wonderful, memorable part of my teenage experience. One of my best memories from freshman year is of Mr. Highland's Algebra 1A class. Never again, he was forever afterwards heard to say, and I cannot say that I really blame him. We were a rambunctious group. Actually, guessing from the look on Mr. Highland's face right now, I would venture to say that rambunctious is a bit of an understatement. I was very sheltered as a freshman. What makes this particular event so memorable is that it was my first experience with what most high schoolers have termed realize how hard it would be to remove. The best part came only later, when Tyler shuffled into the next period a few minutes late, looking very embarrassed, the remnants of dark black eyeliner still decorating his face despite his very best efforts to scrub them off. Several other similarly hilarious events fill my memory as I look back. Despite all of the hard work I put in throughout my time here, I was able to laugh my way through high school because of the amazing people who worked right alongside me. All of you have taught me excellent life lessons. One of the lessons I learned is something that I would like to share with everyone here today. When I first arrived at St. Mary's, I was not willing or ready to try anything new. I did not join any sports or activities during my first semester. If you have ever seen me try to play basketball, you know why. Any sport that includes coordination is my worst sport. And yes, I'm well aware that this includes all sports. However, as I got to know more and more of my classmates, I became more open to the possibilities. I discovered that no coordination is necessary for theater, and so I joined drama. There, I learned that it is acceptable to try and fail, that if I never tried, then I would never know how far I could go. And by that, I mean holding back my laugh while John McCarty was sitting on stage meowing in my ear during a show. Who knew I could actually keep a straight face? After drama, I felt much more confident. If I could keep a straight face, even though it went against my very nature to do so, then maybe I could overcome my lack of coordination and participate in a sport. Or not. As years went by, I began to join more and more activities, reaching my pinnacle this past semester while balancing 3 AP courses, Phantom of the Opera, Forensics, Track, and Community Bible Study. It was very difficult, but I learned so much by simply reaching beyond my set capabilities and trying new things, whether or not I was actually good at them. Sophomore year was an interesting year for me. The joys of Pam Stencil and Chemistry 1A, almost enough to kill a person by themselves, were combined. But here I found a chance to stretch as well. Before sophomore year, my only experience in chemistry was a vague, useless semester of chemistry material from a homeschool program. I had not the slightest idea what a mole was, much less mole day. So one day, I was looking at all of the stuffed moles decorating the classroom during the lecture, you know, instead of Mrs. Frederick's funny cat pictures. And I asked Chris Hadfield, who was sitting behind me, what they were. He said that they were moles. I thought that they were rats. Honestly, if you've ever seen them, they mostly look like indistinct pieces of felted paint anyway. He bet me a shiny penny that they were moles. I said that he was wrong and shook on it. Then I raised my hand right in the middle of class and asked what they were. You guessed it, they were moles. Later, I realized I didn't even have a penny to give him for his winnings. So, handing over the penny I had to mooch off of a friend, I learned that I had to stretch my preconceived notions, as Chris explained that his sister had told him what they were. I learned some good lessons from this incident. First, I learned that the assumption that everyone else is a first-timer too is a terrible assumption. Second, that when you bet a shiny penny, you would best make sure that you actually have one first. I was stretched by the realization, for the first time ever, that I was not always right. I learned to laugh at myself just a little bit more in that moment. Most recently, I have finally been able to admit to myself that I take myself way too seriously. Freshman year, I rarely ever laughed at myself, but chose to be hurt instead when I did something stupid and everyone else enjoyed a laugh at my expense. Through the years, this too has changed my life around. I began to realize that I am just not that important. Ethan Hale, my fantastic duo partner, Noelle Jenkins, Alex Smithson, Brian Lestrella, and Peter and Veronica Horovat, you have shown me that being dignified is so highly overrated. first time in my life. But it was also a very good time. I made friends with so many of my classmates who I had never had the chance to get to know before. So, through all the times that I simply felt like going home and not coming back, each of you found a way to brighten my life in some way. Peter Rottenborn, Emily Murphy, Ed Nathan, you all were the best, battling through AP chemistry and zombies with me. Yes, I did say zombies. One of my favorite memories from junior year was when Emily had teamed up with Sean Tretman to play a certain zombie video game after the AP exams. Now, you have to understand that Sean is, well, even less skilled at this particular video game than I am at sports, which, as you all know, is saying a lot. So, Sean is getting completely killed in this game, and Emily is just running for her life. I am watching, feeling worn out and ready for a break, when Emily starts yelling, and Sean starts complaining, and then the entire room just erupts into chaos. I cannot remember having laughed so hard for a long time. Emily is shouting, "No, no, no," at the top of her lungs, trying to avoid being eaten, while Sean is simply getting eaten over and over again without making a single bit of headway. This one moment allowed me to move past everything that I was worried about and become a better person because of it. Senior year has been my all-time favorite year. So many of you have made it some of the best months of my life. Katie Condon, always talking about buttons. Yes, I like buttons too, Katie. Rachel Shaw, being cheery when I was being a plain grouch and telling the craziest stories I have ever heard. Jordan Burns, helping me way overthink our physics project. Whose stupid idea was our team anyway? Oh yeah, that would be ours. Lauren Curie and Nick Paternos making hilarious comments in AP Literature. Zoe and Sydney Harris, all the fun Harry Potter moments, including borrowing all 7 of the books over Christmas break. Matt Clowney, Eric Cater, and the rest of the cross-country team, I can't believe I didn't join you all sooner. You made first semester the absolute best. Corey and Ryan, my fellow classmates for 4 more years, thank you for not laughing too hard every time I got pegged in dodgeball, which, as we all know, is a lot, since I can't duck. Coach Lupino, your class was the best decision my mother ever made. In the beginning, I was uncertain, but as time went by, I began to realize that your class was the most important class I was taking. You taught me so much about continuing to work, even when I felt as though I couldn't anymore, and taught me a lot about myself in the process. I will think of you fondly while I am doing push-ups and flutter kicks at the Air Force Academy. Dad, thank you for being a cellar dweller, spending months away from your family while living in your brother's basement so that I could be here today. Mom, thank you for pushing me to try, even and especially when I didn't want to. As much as I hate to admit it, you were right. Joe, I know you hate being the smart kid's brother. Thank you for putting up with so much. To all of my friends and family who made it here today, thank you for coming such a long way to make this day complete. And on behalf of my entire class, I would like to thank everyone who made time to be here today. You truly made our day